2019 is about to end, and what a year it has been for the smartphone industry. We saw a ton of new trends, concepts and ideas becoming reality. Now, no matter whether you are a tech enthusiast or just looking for the best value for money, there were plenty of developments that would have made you happy. So in this video, we have looked back at the new smartphones that were released in 2019, and here's our picks for the top 10 smartphone trends of the year. But before we begin this video, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already and hit that bell icon so you know when we post a new video. Now let's get started. Twenty 2019 started off with a bang, with Samsung announcing the world's first mainstream foldable phone, the Galaxy Fold. Packing top-of-the-line hardware and a design that would make anyone drool, this foldable device impressed us with its versatility and promise of an altogether new mobile experience. Huawei also followed suit with an equally impressive take on the foldable phone idea, the Huawei Mate X. Xiaomi gave us another peek at a rather novel foldable phone design. And finally, just recently, Motorola also entered the fray with the reinvented Razr, a foldable phone with the classic Moto Razr DNA. A host of other smartphone makers are experimenting with the idea of foldable phones as well, and many more will materialize in 2020. Nearly all phone makers adopted notches, but they've begun abandoning this design with equal speed, especially for Android flagships. We saw Samsung skip the notch for its flagships, making the jump to hole punch design, which is much closer to an all-screen experience. Additionally, pop-up cameras also emerged as an alternative, showing that there is demand for truly uninterrupted screens. It was not just the design of a smartphone's display that evolved this year, as they improved in a lot of other areas as well. This year saw AMOLED panels making their way to more phones at the high end and even in the budget segment, which was definitely a welcome change. Aspects like color accuracy, brightness, viewing angles and touch latency saw visible improvements, further refining the quality of smartphone screens. Moreover, panels with 90Hz and 120Hz refresh rates became a talking point and went mainstream rather than being limited to gaming-centric smartphones. " 2019 also saw smartphone makers trying new designs to freshen things up. Gradient designs became all the rage, and in-display fingerprint sensors became much more accessible. Additionally, radically curved displays covering the entire sides, side-mounted fingerprint scanners, better vibration motors, and improved cooling technology were the design changes that characterized some smartphone design trends this year. We started the year with 48-megapixel cameras, jumped to 64 megapixels and then ended at 108 megapixel sensors, all packed inside commercially available smartphones. Multi-camera setups became the norm, and even some phones that cost less than 10,000 rupees started packing 4-year cameras so you can take social media ready photos. A dedicated macro camera and wide-angle snapper became one of the must-haves on any smartphone, whereas optical zoom went from 2x to 6x on phones in a year. Fast charging became mainstream this year, and we got to see it in phones at both flagship and mid-range levels. The technology in itself has also made big strides. From 10 watts, smartphone makers eventually stepped up to 15 watts, then 18 watts, 25 watts, 30 watts, 45 watts, 50 watts and all the way to 65 watts as seen on the Oppo Reno Ace. And if this wasn't enough, then Xiaomi has already promised that 100-watt supercharged turbo fast charging technology is coming to smartphones next year. "2019 marked a drastic change in how custom Android skins look and the features they offer. Samsung introduced the refined One UI that focuses on minimalist aesthetics and more accessibility. Oppo made similar strides with ColorOS 7 and even added a ton of new useful features. Realme went a step further and announced a custom version of ColorOS 7 for its phones that will be closer to stock Android. Features such as screen recording, Zen mode, dedicated game launcher, and game booster became more prevalent. And despite the addition of these new features, the overall software got leaner with less pre-installed bloatware. With software becoming leaner, smartphone users also became more aware of the importance of regular updates, Android security patches, and more. Additionally, the user community also became more active at reporting bugs and asking smartphone makers to resolve them quickly. A higher percentage of users now participate in beta testing apps, games, and OS builds, playing a more active role in developing new features or refining existing ones than ever before. This is why a promise of long-term software update now plays a bigger role in buyers' decision before going with a particular brand. This year, smartphone usage patterns changed significantly as well, predominantly driven by cheaper data, especially in India. The explosion in the popularity of online games such as PUBG Mobile, Fortnite, and Call of Duty Mobile was undoubtedly driven by cheap data, and this love for mobile games also gave a big push to the gaming smartphone market. With unlimited plans at relatively low prices, smartphone users also got hooked to streaming online content on platforms like YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hotstar. These content consumption habits also influence smartphone makers to improve the quality of audio-visual hardware on their smartphones. In today's day and age, our smartphones are not just communication devices, but they have also become a medium of self-expression. With apps like TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram, people express their creative freedom to hilarious or sometimes cringe-worthy results. In doing all this, these apps have further cemented people's connection with their phones. So, with the apps evolving and introducing new tools and features, smartphone makers have also realized the same and keep tweaking and improving their phone's hardware to let people make the most out of these platforms. Macro cameras for social media worthy close-up shots, higher resolution front cameras, and better audio output are among the many refinements that have been tailored to make the most out of these apps and keep people hooked to them. And there you have it. These were, in our opinion, the top 10 smartphone trends of 2019. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and do share it with others. Thanks for watching, and for all things tech, log on to gadgets360.com.